Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dear viola friends from all over the world. Welcome to the 6th episode of the International Viola Society Broadcasts. My name is Karin Dolman, and I'm honored to present today's live stream together with the British Viola Society. Louise Lansdon, board member of the British Viola Society and former secretary of the board of the International Viola Society, is a viola professor at the Royal Conservatoire of Birmingham. She asked her students to gather 1 week before the autumn term started to play and record the very famous ensemble pieces from the heart of our viola repertoire, Great Britain.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the introduction, Karen. It's great to have you from across the world watching.
Do you have 1 more minute because I think we are not visible. Yes, we are, but we see in the broadcast, I see something else, so I have to look what is going on. I don't know exactly. Yes, I think we just go and go with the others in the other Zoom, because I think that one will be seen as well. So let's go out of the break room. It doesn't work.
Should I speak when you'll let me know?
Yes, just go and as well to the main thing. Yeah. 1 moment, please. Something went wrong. We will wait till Louise is here as well. Louise, you go.
Great. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, all violists around the world, and everyone else who's joined us. Thanks a million. I'm Louise Lansdowne, as Karen Dolman so kindly introduced me, and I'm the head of strings at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire in the UK, and also the president of the British Viola Society, a very interesting position for someone who's from South Africa, I might add. I'm very, very proud to introduce you to all of my students this evening. We've had such fun preparing this wonderful program that you're all going to be able to enjoy. And is right at the heart of our viola repertoire. And you know, in the UK, we're more aware than you can imagine of our Lionel Tertis legacy, and this is what is at the centre of what we're presenting to you this evening. Karen has actually put together a fantastic footage of during the York Bowen. You'll see amazing footage of Snape Maltings, Benjamin Britten's house. And of course, it's just to bring you a little closer to our viola heritage. So I'm really happy to hand over to Carla, who's going to introduce our main theme, the main man, Lionel Tertis, this evening.
Hi, everyone. So the name that immediately comes to mind when considering the emergence of the viola as a solo instrument is Lionel Tertis. In fact, it is unlikely that this discussion or recording could or would have been made without his life's work. Born in West Hartlepool in the northeast of England in 1876, Tertis played the violin and piano before adopting the love and tyrant of his life, the viola, as his chosen instrument. Upon the completion of his studies at the Royal Academy of Music, Tertis's career took off as a viola soloist, composer, teacher, and perhaps most importantly, advocate. Violists owe so much to Tertis, who transformed the reputation of the viola from pitied Cinderella to what it is today. Indeed, in his memoir, My Viola and I, Tertis recalls, "When I first began to play the viola as a solo instrument, prejudice and storms of abuse were my lot. The consensus of opinion then was that the viola had no right to be heard in solos. Indeed, the consideration of its place in the string family was of the scantiest. It was not only a despised instrument, but its cause was far from helped by the down-and-out violinists who usually played it. The executants in those days were violinists too inferior to gain a position in orchestras as such. a wretchedly low standard of viola playing was in fact accepted, simply and solely because there was no alternative. A little old man, said to be a professional viola player, was engaged by the Academy to take part twice a week in the orchestral practices. What a player he was. He used a very small instrument, not worthy of the name viola, and he produced from it as ugly a sound as fiddle ever emitted. A bone-dry tone, absolutely devoid of vibrato, which made one's hair stand on end. I once inquired of Sir Alexander, could we not dispose of this horrible player? His reply was no, he is a necessary evil. As well as being one of the greatest string players of all time, Tertis both composed himself and inspired many composers of his time to write for him and his viola. He also found time to help design the Tertis model viola and convince luthiers internationally to make hundreds of these models so that future violists would have access to quality instruments, which he believed were scarce. Following a lifetime of music, Tertis died on the 22nd of February, 1975. The Lionel Tertis International Viola Competition was set up to honor his memory in 1980, and its occurrence is one of the biggest celebrations on the viola calendar. We are so delighted to play this incredible music for you today.
Thanks, Carla. Well, Yujia will introduce the composer of the first work on the program. Over to you, Yujia.
Hi, everyone. Jörg Bowen is one of the most unsung heroes of the viola, with most of his works unpublished and unknown when he passed away in 1961. When I'm trying to make up for lost time now, he was born in Crosshair, London, on 22nd February 1884. His father was a whiskey distiller, Bowen and Mackey, and he was the youngest of 3 sons. Bowen began his music education with his father when he was very young and started to study at the RAM at age 14, very early. Piano and composing were his primary areas, but in addition, he was a talented conductor, organist, violist, and horn player. He wrote much music for the piano, and his string music was written for players that he greatly admired. Yati Crester Tertis. Through meeting Tertis and falling in love with his incredible viola playing, Bowen firmly believed that the tune quality and beauty of the viola was superior to that of the violin. Bowen was integral to Tertis' plan to increase the popularity of the instrument. And he did not disappoint with his vast and magnificent output for the viola. The two performed together very often, and the result of this friendship and collaboration were major additions to the repertoire. These included 2 sonatas and concerto, fantasy for 4 violas, viola and violin, viola deuce. A rhapsody for viola and piano, and many magical shorter work illuminating the glorious quality of the viola. It is honestly worth listening to every single work that Bowen composed for the viola. Bowen even made a real performance as a violist with his wife and the organ playing his own poem for viola, harp, and organ in 1912. He composed 2 songs for viola and piano, but both have been lost. Bowen died on 23rd November 1961. Yeah.
Thanks, Ujia. Well, Carla is now going to talk to you a little about the actual music and writing in this extraordinary viola quartet by York Bowen.
Yeah, so as Louise just mentioned, the Bowen Fantasy is an extraordinary work written for 4 violas. And when we started rehearsing, we soon found out how extreme the viola parts were when Yuja, who you just heard talking, our first violist, would want to pick up the violin for the very high passages. Throughout the piece, there is wonderful yet quite dissonant use of harmony, and regarding structure, we find a typical arc which involves the elements of 3 or 4 movements into one. This piece is remarkable for the range of textures and expressive power that Bowen obtains from his quartet, from the wistful opening to the driving energy of the fast music. But the overall character is sorrowful, the mood underlined by the extended half-lit closing section, where all the violas are muted. I hope you enjoy our playing of the Bowen. Thank you.
Welcome back. Unfortunately, my bird started now, right this moment, started to scream really loud. But it's your turn again.
Great. Oh, I'm back, everybody. And we're on to our second piece now, a wonderful quartet composed by William Henry Reid. I'm going to hand over to Yu Shin, who is going to introduce Billy Reid to you.
William Henry Reid, or Billy to his friend, was born in From in 1875, the year after Holst and before Tertis. Reid was a violinist, teacher, composer, conductor, and was the leader of the London Symphony Orchestra for 23 years from 19 to 1935. However, Reed is probably best known today as the close friend and biographer of Edward Elgar. Although previously acquainted, it was not until 1910, following a chance meeting, that Elgar requested Reed's help with the writing of his violin concerto. Reed obliged, and this was the beginning of a friendship which lasted until Elgar's death in 1934. Reed's Rhapsody for viola and piano, dedicated to Lionel Tertis, was later arranged by the composer for viola and orchestra. The premiere was revealed in Strott in July 1927. It states, a good solo written with the knowledge of the viola and with thematic material well worked out. The Andantino, which abroad allegro, is very musical, and there's the striking technique in the finale. In the letter to Miss Coolidge in 29 April 1927, Tertis reported, new work last Monday by W.H. Reed with the London Symphony Orchestra at the Queen's Hall, and everyone raved about my viola. It certainly has improved out of all recognition, and I would like you to hear it. Its tone is mellow and enormous. Fortunately, only 4 pages of Reed's original orchestration remain, as one of the first prizes of the 2021 Cecil Runaways International Viola Competition. The winner will record the Reed Rhapsody with the BBC Concert Orchestra on EM Records, with a newly completed orchestral score by Michael Fryman. In addition, we are so thrilled today to be able to perform an unknown and unpublished work for 4 violas, also composed by Reed. Huge thanks to Valerie Dart for putting this wonderful work onto Sibelius and being so generous to share with us. We hope you love listening to this beautiful romance and humor.
Thanks, Yushin. Well, Thomas and Carla are now going to talk just a little bit more about the music to you. So I'm going to hand over to Thomas, who's going to start off by talking about the romance.
Thanks, Louis and Yushin. Hello. I'd like to share some really good ideas from this wonderful romance. This is mostly a slow movement which contains repeated rhythmic patterns at the beginning and the end. Just a simple quiver plus crochet which changes harmony to decorate the music. The really expressive parts of dotted rhythms moving through the melodic lines, especially for first viola. In the middle section, Rode had chosen a more intense atmosphere with the third viola leading the way into an animato. There is a more flowing tempo and some absolutely glorious melodies appearing across the quartet. Thanks.
Thanks, Thomas. Over to Carla now to talk about the second part, the humoresque.
Thank you. So this next and last movement of William Reed's work is called Humoresque and is a complete contrast to the romance that we're about to hear. The piece has 4 distinct sections, all of which make up the humorous character by sudden sforzandos or a complete change of tonality from minor to major. In the first section, the 4th viola starts with very articulated quavers that add to the curious nature of the piece, along with the minor tonality. The melody is first heard as a duet between violas 1 and 2, and then is taken over by the 4th. All of this is quite staccato. The next section is broader, with the use of crotchets and canonic writing between the violas, as well as being more legato. The third is a playful yet march-like section, and all the violas are in rhythmic unison for most of this. Finally, the last section repeats the first. So I hope you enjoy, and here is the read.
would like to as well to just that we made again some nice views of in the Romans the coastlines of England, and in the second we will see a bit of the Scottish nature. So let's go for the Romance. Enjoy.
learn to protect the food plants and birds, it's vitally important for us too. Healthy nature equals healthy people. Scotland is our home. An investment in Scotland's nature is therefore nothing more than an investment in our home. British Highlands and places like Glenafric, Glenfeshie and Abernethy, huge efforts are being made to restore and reconnect forest fragments. And already the results are obvious, with species like pine martens and ringlet butterflies returning to places where they've not been seen for decades. In the Cairngorms, where forests are being restored and joined up to function more effectively, birds like black grouse are increasing in number, and in some places, capercaillie are also doing better. Forest networks are great news for wildlife, great news for climate change,
So, welcome back. Sorry for everybody. I forgot to take out a few words of the Scottish nature. So, but hopefully it was not too long. But you can go on again.
Great. Well, we're on to the very final work of the programme for you this evening, an absolutely magnificent sextet by Benjamin Dale. And we've got Cher, who's going to start off the introduction. Over to you, Cher.
Benjamin Dale was born on 7 July 1885, the youngest of 7 children. He started studying at the RAM at the age of 15. In fact, on the same day as Arnold Bax. Some of his peers at the RAM included Coates, Bowen, and Clark. The romance and the finale from Dale's first work for viola and piano, Suite Op. 2, were first performed by Tertis and Bowen in 1906. Dale later orchestrated this work. In 1909, Dale was appointed professor of harmony and composition at the RAM, and it was around this time that W. Cobbett commissioned 12 fantasies from young British composers. Dale's contribution was his fantasy Op. 4, or 90 minutes of it.
Over to Alma now to continue about Benjamin Dale. Thank you, Cher.
So Tertis had produced some fantastic viola players in the short time that he had been teaching at the Royal Academy of Music. And he asked Benjamin Dale to write a piece for 6 violas for a talk that he was giving in New York in 1911. And Dale composed this introduction and andante that you're about to hear for this occasion. And he later revised it in 1913. An ill-timed trip to Germany resulted in Dale spending the First World War in an internment camp, where he suffered a great deal. Whilst he was still in Germany, he wrote 2 songs from Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, with the second, Come Away Death, incorporating a viola obbligato. Sadly, Dale never recovered from these years in Germany, and although he did continue to compose, he was never the same again. He died on the 30th of July of 1943. The introduction and Andante is a magnificently rich work. Frederick Corder described it as almost Beethoven, and John White likened the romanticism and emotional progression to Schoenberg's Verklärte Nacht. Dale uses the entire possible register of the viola. The highest note that you hear is an A flat, nearly 4 octaves above middle C, which is played as a false harmonic. And Dale expands the register of the viola even further because viola 6 tunes down their C string to a B flat for the majority of the piece. And then for the final chord, the viola 6 C string is tuned down to a G. This scordatura tuning provides a stunningly warm texture for the glorious melodies from the higher parts to soar. It's a very technically demanding piece, not just each individual part, but because of the way that the parts overlap and they pass the melody lines and accompaniments between each other. So that keeps us all on the ball all the time while we're playing it. And Dale overlaps triplet and duplet rhythms in a very Brahms-like style, which makes this really gorgeous thick texture that you're about to hear, but does make it quite tricky for us all to stay together. So this is Benjamin Dale's Introduction and Andante, a truly breathtaking work and one that I believe deserves a more prominent place in the viola repertoire. I hope you enjoy our performance of it.
And welcome back.
Hi, everybody. Well, I hope you all absolutely loved these three unique and valuable additions to the viola repertoire. Thank you, Lionel Tertis, Bowen, Reed, and Benjamin Dale. I hope it makes you all want to play them right now. Well, over to Peter to close the concert for you. Good night.
It is clear that we have much to thank Lionel Tertis for. his hard work and dedication to promote the viola and to push its soloistic capabilities, with the help of York Baron William Reed and Benjamin Dale, has brought a fantastic wealth of repertoire for us to enjoy. And now that we have loved getting to know and record these selected works that have been presented this evening. We have a further concert coming up on Sunday the 3rd of October at the Icon Gallery in Birmingham, where we will get to play these same works again, as well as 2 additional pieces, Frank Bridges' Lament for 2 violas and York Bowen's 3 duos for violin and viola, both also gems of the viola repertoire. Alongside this, the viola department at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire will be kept very busy this term. The Cecil Ranovitz International Viola Competition is coming up in November, taking place at the Conservatoire, and we will be fully involved with the various duties required throughout the whole event. And we also have some upcoming classes from visiting violists, including Thomas Riedel, Timothy Ridout, and Jordan Bach. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, that was very nice. One of you made some look into the chats of the. I think it was you, Alma, who looked into the chats which were at the side of the YouTube channel. And please, all people, subscribe for the YouTube channel of the International Viola Society. Then you will be always there when we do some broadcasts. So, Alma, did you see some questions or remarks?
I didn't see any. I answered one question about who the composer was, but I think people just really liked the scenery going with the music was the general vibe that I got from the comments. I'll just go back and check now and see if there aren't any more questions.
It was mainly, I think, some comments as well for you, Louise, for the next Congress, because when was the last International Viola Congress going on in England? Do you know?
I think it was 1998.
Something I read as well. So there was already, especially looking at what a beautiful country you all live, was as well that they liked.
If only Birmingham was so beautiful, I hasten to add. Well, actually, we tried to host the Congress in 2017, but actually, no, we tried to do it last year, but then Portugal got it, and then COVID. So COVID got Portugal, COVID got all of us.
Yeah,
so yeah.
I know. But we will definitely come to England. That's for sure. We have to find the right dates, and then we will be all we can go in there. So thank you very much all to this. First, Alma, did you see some questions still?
I think. No, I'm just looking. I don't think so.
No, okay. Then I would like to thank you all for this really wonderful broadcast and giving us an insight of William Reed and about the composers. We never can hear enough about that. So thank you. And in the meantime, I will introduce Ames Aspel. I have to go and find my notes as well. Ames is president-elect from the American Viola Society, and she's professor at the Texas State University, is teaching there the viola and chamber music. Also, Ames was very busy last year organizing the 2021 American Viola Festival. We all could enjoy over the world because it was online. It was a really big event. People of Birmingham, we will see us later somewhere, and congratulations, and have good fun with your next concerts, and do your best. And it was very nice to have you with us. Goodbye.
It was very beautiful playing. It was so nice to hear all of you and all these wonderful viola ensemble works. Thank you so much for sharing your playing and your artistry, and and also the beautiful scenery. Yes, I'm with you, Karen. I'm ready for another Congress in England. That'd be a great trip to take.
Yes.
Thank you for having me today, and I just wanted to say hello and to say how excited we are at the American Viola Society to be hosting next month's broadcast. We'll be continuing the theme of viola ensembles. When Yuta and Karen reached out about doing this, the first thing we thought was, oh, we had this wonderful viola ensemble program from violists from the Nashville Symphony in Tennessee, members of their orchestra. They did a wonderful program for us for the virtual conference that we hosted in June. They put together a group of pieces that they had recorded all throughout the year during the pandemic, some that they recorded right at the beginning where we all had to, make our individual recordings and piece them together. And then they were, eventually able to get together with masks in the room and do some recordings. So it was a kind of an interesting program. And so I know that we're planning to share that with you. And I actually made some little slides to make a little teaser to show you a little bit about what you're seeing. So I'm going to share my screen with you quickly. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, I'm moving my design around. See if I can get this to play for you properly. There we go. So we're so excited to be joining you on Saturday, October 24th. Did I get the date and the time right, Karen?
Yes, you're wonderful. It's already
perfect.
In there. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, good. And this was our logo for the festival. So those of you who were able to join us for the festival this past June, you're used to seeing this. And those of you who aren't, you get to get a little taste. It was our 50th anniversary. The American Viola Society was founded in 1971. And we were so happy to celebrate our 50th anniversary with this virtual festival. And we had originally planned the festival for June 2020 for Knoxville, Tennessee. And we weren't able to have it, of course, because of COVID. So we kept the design. You can see the lovely skyline of Knoxville, Tennessee in the background there. And if you ever have a chance to go to Knoxville, it's a beautiful city. So we'll be hearing next month. We'll hear the premiere. This will only be the second broadcast of the piece that we commissioned for every American Viola Society Festival. We commission a viola ensemble work, and this time we commissioned one from Christian Kohlberg, who is the principal violist of the Cincinnati Symphony and also a composer. He's written a concerto and a viola duo. So this was his first viola ensemble piece, and it's called The Immigrant. And this was recorded by some violists from the Knoxville Symphony in Tennessee, and including our president, Hillary Herndon, and some of her colleagues in Knoxville. And it's interesting. It's well, you'll hear more. Christian will explain to you the story, but it's kind of like the viola taking a trip through time. So it's a very fascinating and wonderful piece, new piece for us. Also, we have two other premieres that were written by members of the Nashville Symphony. So we have Anthony Parse. I hope my picture's not covering him up over here on the right. I think it is. But Anthony Parse wrote a piece called Evolving Portrait for viola quartet. And his colleague Christopher Farrell from the Nashville Symphony also wrote an octet, which, as you can see, they recorded in the beginning of the pandemic. So we had the piecing together version. So you'll see that as well. And these are only the second time you'll hear all of these three pieces. The Kohlberg, the Parse, and the Farrell will only be the second time these pieces will have been heard. So pretty new stuff. And we hope to have the composers with us to discuss their works. It will really be really nice. And then here are some other little teasers of the rest of the program. The Nashville Symphony also did performed some arrangements of Piazzolla and American popular tunes, and then also an arrangement by Jennifer Higdon, which we're still waiting to see if we can get the permission to show that from you, and we really hope that we can. So that's the Nashville Symphony. That will be a portion of our program. We'll also have a little teaser about the next Viola Congress, which is coming up next June 1st through 5th in Columbus, Georgia. We are so thrilled to be able to combine for this coming year our AVS Festival, which we were already planning, and then to be in coordination with the next International Viola Congress. It's such an honor for us, and we're so excited about it. And I hope that Katrin will be able to join us and tell us more, but we definitely have a little more information next month. So we really hope that you will all mark your calendars and plan to come. It's Columbus, Georgia in the United States. It's a mid-sized southern city. It's a beautiful city with a very sort of revitalized downtown area, and the university is right downtown near the river. There's some exciting things to do there, like rafting on the river and zip lining. So we have some very fun activities in addition to all the viola stuff that will be happening. And I have to put a personal plug in because Columbus, Georgia just happens to be my hometown where I grew up and where I started to play the viola. So it'll be really fun to go back home and see how the city is developed. And it's a wonderful school of music, and Katrin is doing a beautiful job there as professor of viola, and she's doing a wonderful job as our host. So we'll talk more about what you'll be able to see when you come to Columbus. And I should just say too, it's very easy to get to internationally. It's very near to Atlanta, Georgia. It's just about 100 miles. Sorry, no metrics, but just about 100 miles from Atlanta, which is a huge international airport, the busiest airport in the world. So it's very easy to get into Atlanta and easy to get to Columbus, and it's a beautiful city. You'll really, really enjoy yourselves. And in the meantime, we have to invite you to our upcoming event, which is the AVS Green Room. Every month, the wonderful violist Stephen Tannenbaum, who was a member of the Orion Quartet and has been on faculty of the Juilliard School for several years now, he hosts a live Zoom with some of the biggest viola stars around. And just 1 week from today, this is at 1 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S., on Saturday, September 5th, we'll have Kim Kashkashian in the green room. So Steve will interview her, and then because it's a live Zoom, you can unmute yourself and you can join in the discussion, and you can ask questions, and you can say hi to Kim, and I know she'd love to hear from you. So we just can't wait. She has so much wisdom to share about the viola and about life, and it's going to be a wonderful conversation. So if you'd like to join us, I should have put the information on the slide, but you can join simply at the American Viola Society website, which is americanviolasociety.org. And so that will there'll be a link. If you're already a member of the American Viola Society, it's free. Otherwise, there is a small charge to help out. So we'd love to see you there. We do those every month. So we have one in October as well, which will be with social media violists. If you know Drew Ford, that viola kid, you should know him because he was in Rotterdam. And also Rebecca Young, who is from the New York Philharmonic, who is the viola mom on TikTok. And Katie Brown, who hosts the Classically Black podcast. She's a co-founder and co-host of the Classically Black podcast. Those will be our guests for October. So every month we have a green room, and we'd love to see you there. I think I can stop my share. I don't know how to. Yeah. There I go.
Yeah,
all right.
There we are again.
Great. So Karen, thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about next month, and we can't wait to be with you.
Yes, it would be really wonderful. Yes, and I got already a letter from the American Viola Society will be your guest in Columbus, so you will definitely see me. So that's great.
Wonderful.
I found already some friends as well in Holland who will come as well. So yes, Holland and Columbus, here we come. And people, so subscribe all for this YouTube channel of the International Viola Society. It's very important that we are all gathering, and America got back as well to the International Viola Society. So we are all happy, one family. So see you all on the 24th of October. And join us again. And goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Ames. Bye.